Welcome back, everybody. Day 3, TESOL 2022. I'm Amy Sweezy, and my next guest is Joan Shin. Joan is a professor at George Mason University and also an author. And you have authored the latest book, the latest edition in the 6 Principles series. The 6 Principles for Exemplary Teaching of English Learners, Young Learners in a Multilingual World.
Yes.
All right. So I talked to Deborah Short on Wednesday, and she gave us a really good overview of the 6 principles. So we went through each of those. So what I'd like to ask you about this latest book is, you know, your book is designed specifically for young learners, which is 12 and under age group. So what is different and what is the same about applying these principles to the younger learners?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that the 6 principles, they really can be applied to any context, but something that makes it different for the book that my co-authors and I wrote is that for young learners who are in global contexts, they have some additional needs because they are in contexts where English isn't spoken or used very often. It is often taught, as they say, as a foreign language. And so there's some additional challenges for them to be able to learn English if they're not going to hear it or see it being used around them. And so that is one area that we try to address in the book, is how teachers can apply these 6 principles in this different type of context.
Okay.
I also think that we have identified some underpinnings that are needed for teachers to really apply the 6 principles well in this type of context. Like, really, I guess you could say we created like a vision for the 6 principles in teaching English to young learners in global contexts. So the first one is, of course, a commitment to children, right? And to see the learners, as the whole child, not just as a learner of a language, but taking care of their physical, emotional needs, and remembering that that's so important when you teach children, that in fact, maybe it doesn't even matter what subject you teach, you have to really take care of their needs, right, as young people. Another one of our underpinnings is the recognition that English is a global language. And so students who are learning English in these contexts, they are going to be using it when they grow up in kind of international contexts. The other thing that it means is that, well, English doesn't actually belong to any one country or culture anymore. So, you have to also teach about other cultures or get your learners to know how to express their home culture in English. Okay, so that notion of English being a global language is so important in around the world. And the other 2 underpinnings are focused on language and the multiliteracies approach. So when you teach language, it isn't just text, right? I mean, it's multimodal. You are expressing language using all different types of new literacies, like digital literacies, right? Students need computer and technology literacy. They need visual literacy, media literacy. So all of these are wrapped up also in how to learn a language. And then the last underpinning is a commitment to a multilingual world. So all of our young learners in these global contexts, they're learning English as an additional language. It might be a second language for them, a third language, a fourth language.
Wow.
And so we want to make sure teachers who are working with young learners also recognize students' cultural and linguistic diversity and really encourage them to be able to use the full range of their linguistic resources, even in other languages that they know and use.
Okay. I know your book has some classroom examples in it. Can you share 1 or 2 of those with us?
Sure.
Kind of a preview?
Absolutely. So we have a lot of vignettes that come from different countries, right? So some that come from, say, a public school context in Japan, or in a bilingual school in Sweden, or at a binational center in Brazil. And so hopefully through these vignettes, teachers can really get a sense of how these 6 principles work in the classroom. One example that I could give is actually in Serbia, where one of my co-authors, Vera Savic, comes from. And we worked with an innovative teacher, Anna, who she used Mystery Skype. And, they say Mystery Skype, but you could use Zoom or any other application. But the Mystery Skype activities actually connect classrooms in different countries. So Anna's students who are in Serbia connected with a classroom in Dubai, in the UAE, and the students didn't know where, the other classroom was located.
Okay.
So they had to use English as an international language and ask each other questions to try to figure out where the other classroom was located. And so it's like authentic communication, integration of technology, using it for communication, and the students were super excited and engaged, right?
Fun, yes. That would be very fun.
Yeah.
If somebody buys this book, they also have access then to this companion website. What do they find there? What's the website all about?
Yeah, so the website has some additional resources that, so for example, in the book, the print book, we give a checklist for the 6 principles as well as those underpinnings for TEYL that I mentioned. And the checklist really is a tool for teachers to reflect on their classroom and their teaching, or could even be for a school administrator. If the school administrator is trying to see how are we doing with teaching young learners. So the checklist is in there, and it gives you notes and spaces to reflect on it. Well, that tool would be on the website, so there's an easy way to have a printable version of it. So some of those tools are there and linked from the website. So any of the tools that we have in print can be more easily accessible to teachers to use.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we invite everyone to find this book, 6 Principles for Exemplary Teaching of English Learners, Young Learners in a Multilingual World. Joan, Shin, thank you so much for being here to give us a little preview of this latest book.
Thank you for having me.